Hi, everyone. We are gonna start in a very short time. So just, yeah, it's working. Just we wait for everybody to connect, and then we're gonna start just 1-2 minutes more. And yeah, we're going to be here. Everybody who cannot connect, of course, we're going to send you the recording of the presentation. I think we have around 200 registrations, but everybody is busy, of course, and it's not 175 registrations. So you're going to be able to review and rewatch the presentation. Samia is with us. Hi, Samia.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
Good. So if you have questions, if you have feedback, if you need to know something, Samia is going to answer your questions and in the chat and all your questions.
Here. Okay, doctors, if you have any questions, just let me know.
Okay. So 1 minute more. I'm going to bring some water and then we start. Okay, so I think we're good. Let's start. Thank you so much for attending our presentation, our webinar. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, you invest here some time, so we're gonna show you the next update, the next generation of everything what we do. You know that everything what we do is always focused on improving the workflows, creating something that is easier, creating something that is better, and bringing a complete different workflow and mindset to your office so that you can work in a complete different way and create beautiful smiles. So that's the main vision and the main goal that we have. With the version 3.0, we bring something completely new. It's a complete level of everything what we do. It's a complete new technology and workflows, and we make everything easier. Everything what we have right now, it's the same, but on top, we have much more features that are gonna make everything much more fun. So let me show you an overview, and I hope you are gonna see and confirm, right? Confirm that everything what we do is exactly something that makes your life and your work easier day by day. So Jorge, welcome. Let me also. Oh, you're to the panelist. Okay, perfect. So SmileFy 3.0. As I mentioned, is a complete new level of technology, and we continue our innovation and we continue our improvements because we want to create something that makes so much fun and helps you really design smiles and talk to the patients in a completely different way. But of course, we need to push limits, not only of technology, but also push limits of our workflows and everything what we do, so that you can be you can have the control in office about a lot of stuff that you are planning and designing. And for that reason, I'm going to show everything what we have new, and it's a lot of fun, a lot of new stuff. So first of all, we were at the AACD in Orlando. It was a beautiful event. So we had very good feedback. We have presented here our new features and everything what we do. We met dear friends like Marcus Blatz from UPenn. He also presented cases in his lectures using SmileFy. We had a workshop. And what do we have in the new update? So we have the direct printers connection. That's the first, I think, very, very important and interesting step that we have done. We have connected directly in SmileFy all these printers and desktop health. So the picture is not here, but we have 6 printers connected directly to SmileFy. What does it mean? When you design a mock-up, temporaries, whatever you design, you don't need to go out of SmileFy to export the file to some Dropboxes or the desktop. You can send the file directly from SmileFy to the software of the printer. And it's very, very easy and very quick. So for example, you have the design, you click on 3D print, the software of the printer opens immediately and imports the file that you have sent from here. And then you can select the resin, the quality, and you can start printing. So we do have the Asiga, the Formlabs, Accureta, Nextend, Sprint Tray, and Desktop Health, which is not in this slide, but Desktop Health is also included now in the 3D printing list. You print, you design, you click 3D print, you select your printer. If the printer is, for example, Sprint Tray, it's gonna be the Sprint Tray software opens, your file is imported, you select the resin, you click print. Nextend, the same way. So it's very, very easy to use. Now, that's the Mac connection. So in case you have SmileFy.com printer. In case you have a Windows computer connected to the Windows computer connected to the 3D printer, we have also developed a Windows software that is that you can install on Windows, and then we send the file to the cloud and to the Windows software. And in the Windows software, you can send your cases directly to the printer. So we have now the Mac connections and the Windows connections for the print. That, yeah, that helps. Here we go, 3D print. Okay. Page is opening, just a second. Okay, and we're gonna send you the link from the website where you can download and install the Windows software, SmileFy 3D printer software, and then having the printers hub. So you have the connection to all your printers and you can directly access the printers from SmileFy.
I just sent on the chat the link where you can download the software, okay?
Okay. Okay, so here we go. We have here on the website the print hub, so you can download now the Windows software, and it's gonna be connected to all these printers. So very, very easy, and you have also the tutorials. That's one of the, I think, very, very important steps, because we want to make it super easy for you, design and print without all this madness of files, exporting and emails and Dropboxes and all this stuff. Good. What do we have as next? We have CAD features that we have integrated in the app for mock-up veneers, crown, bridges, presets, CADs, and so on. What we do is not only the design, which is, of course, the first step in everything what we do, but afterwards you can create your veneers, for example. You can create shell mock-ups, you can create full art implant bridges, mock-ups, crown lengthening guides, everything what is important. And to make it simple, because that's the idea. So let's say you have the design done and you want a shell to print a shell mock-up, right? It is a very many steps to create from a design to create a shell mock-up like this that you can print and just put in the mouth of the patient, right? It's a very, very time-consuming and also complex procedure. To simplify everything, we have created presets. So you have the design and you just click on shells mockup. And we do all the operations in the background and we create this file for you directly. So it takes like 1 minute. You have the design, right? You have the design and then you go to the presets. You click shells mockup, and then we calculate tooth by tooth, and we create all these CAD operations for you, and that's the result that you get. You can send this file to the printer and print directly. Of course, you can create things like this. For example, you can have 4 crowns and 2 veneers, right? It depends on how you design your, and I'm going to show you later how you design your smile. And based on the way you design your smile, you can then automatically use a preset and say, for example, that could be temporaries. And you can just select the temporaries preset and we calculate automatically all these files for you. We have 4 crowns, we have 2 veneers, we combine them, we make a union, and then you can send this file to the printer and everything is done. So it is more and more simplified, all these complex CAD features in the background, and it has to be super quick and super easy. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? Every single case, because if you want to create temporaries or veneers or crowns or shell mock-ups, the whole workflow is always the same. That's why we automate everything and make it easier. Then we have the presets to automate different operations. And we do have, of course, in this automation, we do have also the full art implant bridge that is actually based on the design that we already know with the occlusal curve. We create this 3D smile frame. We set the position of our teeth, and then we automatically generate the position of the teeth, upper, lower, and the gums in between the patient's gingiva and the design. You can, with the mesh editor, you can readjust the gums. And now we do have a lot of files, and that's a little bit confusing. So how do we generate the full art implant bridge? So to make it easy, we have also the preset of full art implant bridge, FAIB, where we do in the background all the operations for you. Means we create one file out of every single tooth plus the gums. Then we modify the gums based on the patient's gingiva, and then we create the holes for the implant bodies based on the position of the implant bodies, the holes for the abutments. So all this stuff is done in one click, and it simplifies all this stuff. Then we do have a very, very powerful and interesting feature. One of the most complicated and time-consuming procedure is we create with the smile frame in a pretty short period of time the design. The position of the teeth is correct, everything is fine, but what is missing for a beautiful smile design is the gingival fit of our templates, right? Because our templates, they don't follow the patient's gingiva. So how do we get a beautiful gingival fit? How do we get our templates to follow the gingiva? We have one option to go to the mesh editor and then to modify the gingiva and to make it fit. But of course, we have technology and we can do something much better. That's a very, very memory consuming feature, but it's actually, you know, in 1 minute is done. With these points, you define the gingival curve of your patient. And then we automatically calculate the template based on this gingival line. So let me show you how that works. Gingival fit. There we go. So that's really, really a very powerful feature, and I think that's gonna change a lot of designs and the way we design and the way we our mindset for the design. For example, this central is placed beautifully, right, in the design, but we see that the gingival margins here are a little bit different. So our template not necessarily follows our template doesn't follow the gingival margins of the patient. So what we do, let me play you the recording. So what we do is we go to the section gingival fit. We select now the central. As you can see, we do have at the top, we have like a tutorial, and we have now our intraoral scan from our patient. And we set now the points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th point is the highest point on the gingival curve. And now we calculate the gingival fit. It's a very, very complex operation. And the result is like this. So you can see now our template follows perfectly the gingiva of the patient. Right? That's I think it's gonna be a lot of it simplifies the post designing of our smile to make the gingiva fit. Then okay, so let me go back to our features. So you set 10 points following the gingiva, and the app calculates then automatically the gingival fit. More than that, there is another very interesting aspect of the design. We have a template, right? We have a template, and this template is, we like the template, but sometimes the embrasures need a small adjustment, right? For example, in this one, the embrasures, they need a small adjustment. What we can do, is we can deform. We do have a biofunctional deformation. It means with a very complex technology, we analyze the surface of the tooth, the topology of the tooth. We recreate the natural topology of the tooth. You see, it's a natural, this template is from a natural smile donator, right? And then we deform the tooth in a way that we can change the embrasures. Here, for example, we make it more open and we deform the mesial corner of the lateral, and we create here a different form of the tooth without destroying the surface. Sometimes it's also very, very important to have these small customizing steps and to create the smile in a very, very beautiful way. Tooth deformation. That's this part of the of what I showed you. So you have here in corners. So you can move a corner, distal, mesial. So you create from the tooth. You can close the embrasure, open the embrasure, or link the right and left side, and then create more of a triangular tooth or more round. So you have here options to really deform the tooth in a way that it's still very natural, but the tooth has then a different form than the original template. It's going to be a very, very powerful feature, and it's going to change the harmony of your design in a very, very strong way. And it's very easy to use. So again, we have sliders. I think, oh, maybe I'm going to close a little bit the embrasures of these centrals. So I'm going to link the right and left side, and I'm going to move the slider mesially, right? Mesially. And then we're going to close the embrasures, and we're going to adjust the design in a very, very different way. Digital edits. Digital edits are also part of the CAD features, and that's something that is very painfully, and I wasn't happy, you know, when you have a case, for example, and the teeth of the patient are in the way, they look out of your design, and then you need somehow to create an ideal design, but the teeth are looking out, so you need to cover them somehow, or with the mesh to push them back so that you have space for the design. We do have the digital extraction, and the digital extraction is very easy. You select the tooth that you want to extract, for example, a central, and then you click extract. And this original central tooth of your patient is going to be extracted. So then you have space for your design. That's going to be very, very interesting and also powerful for cases like full art implant bridges, when you still have teeth of the patient and you want them gone, so that you have the space and the space to design a new ideal smile without being bothered, right, by teeth that are just in the way. Then we do have also something that is very new, and I didn't see this feature anywhere in other softwares, but sometimes you have patients with old veneers and you cut them out with a laser, and you, of course, because the veneers were 10 or 20 years ago, the socket of the prep of the tooth, right, is destroyed. It's not in the best condition, or it is very, it was prepped aggressively, it's very small, it's destroyed, and so on. And you want to restore the socket with composite, and to create something that is more stable and more ideal for the new restorations, right? So you can use these templates now, these templates, and that's the ideal prep. So you can take these templates and superimpose with the intraoral scan of the patient without the veneers, and then you can reconstruct the socket and make it in the correct position. There are then several ways that you can do this socket restoration. You can print the model. You can create a silicone key instead of bisacryl composite, and then you can restore, for example, the prep. That's one thing that is very easy. And then you have actually you have the preps in an ideal way so that you can then do the design on top properly. What do we have? A lot of users and you ask us also for the vertical dimension of occlusion to be also changed in the app, inside the app. We recommend, of course, that you set the vertical dimension of occlusion inside the mouth of the patient with the bite registration, and you work with the patient on the new position. But in some cases, you don't have the option or the way to do that. And a lot of you ask us to also integrate the digital vertical dimension of occlusion. So that's why we integrated 2 sliders, so you can open the bite or close the bite with the slider. So the lower jaw is gonna go up and down. And you can also rotate. You can also rotate the lower jaw so that you can change the angulation. Now, all this stuff is, a little bit dangerous, right? Because we really want you to do the bite registration with the patient, to find the correct position with the patient, with the bite registration, and then scan the right and left side in the new position, import all these files into the application, calibrate the side scans with the upper jaw, and then the lower jaw with the side scans, so that you have the proper video. But there is another option, to do all this stuff also digitally. Improved colors and design display. So in order to have better display, on all these templates and on the design, we have also improved and we added light reflections and lights on the design. We're going to, of course, have selection of colors that you can use for the display of the design. We're going to have also, to some point, a rendering of the teeth in a way that the design in the face of the patient is going to look like a natural design. But for that, these are 2 different technologies. So in the design workflow, we need to keep a certain technology to be able to transform and manipulate all the objects. And then in the final rendering, where we just put the smile in the face, we're gonna have also an improved way to display the teeth colors. But also it's important to have like a color map, right? And to say, okay, I'm gonna check how the veneers in my design, if I do have veneers or crowns, so my crowns are gonna be red, the veneers are gonna be green or yellow. So in the design, I can have an overview about what exactly every single tooth, every single piece of the design is done, and then we can see what is the summary of our treatment and the design. And here is a rendering that I did on a tooth. You see, we do have the transparency, we have the colors, we can change these colors for BL1 to more darker colors. But these kind of renderings and with all the light reflections are possible, of course, are possible in the app. So we work to improve, also the final rendering and the final result of when you have the design in the face of the patient, like here, right? These are actually CAD objects that are STLs, right? That's why they are so white. But we are gonna have these light reflections and renderings inside the app. So that's the summary. So now let me show you now in the app how everything is working in a quick case. That's a prototype that we test now, and we have a lot of different prototypes and workflows, because everything what we do is very complex in the back end, but what we want you at the front to have a very, very easy to use solution, and you don't need to worry about all these 5, 6 CAD operations in the background just to create for example, shell veneers or something like this. So that's why we do all this stuff in the background. So let me show you some stuff. So we start with the case. The case is already we created the digital patient, means that the picture is already calibrated with the intraoral scan. So if you have questions, please ask in the chat and everything. I'm gonna answer the questions. If I see your questions, I'm gonna answer the questions one by one. How do I send the file from iTero to the SmileFy app? We still work to convince a line to connect us, right? We do have the Medit connection and we do have the tree-shape connection. So I hope we can convince a line to also connect us to iTero. That's gonna be super, super easy. And what I can tell you, we work on more connections. So we work on connections with Implant planning softwares. So you're gonna have the design, you send the design to the Implant planning software, and then you plan your implants and you send the complete plan back to SmileFy. We work, and that's gonna be super interesting, we work to connect our SmileFy software to a CAD/CAM software. So you're going to send the full design to the CAD/CAM software, and there in this software you can prepare the files for milling. So it's a lot of stuff that it's going to be easier for everybody. Thank you very much. The gingival fit is it's going to be, I hope, exactly the function that is going to make a beautiful smile into an amazing, great smile, because the gingival fit to the patient, right, gives the smile this harmony of everything is in one beautiful piece, right? So the smile doesn't look, or the templates, they don't look like just put on the intraoral scan. So let me calibrate now. Everything what we have, it's actually built on top of the expertise from the 3D smile design. So if you already use the app or do the 3D smile design or have taken our course, everything what we have right now is on top of this expertise of yours. So it's nothing, it's not gonna be something new. In the first step, we do the same. We create the smile, we create the smile frame. We generate now the smile frame. So the smile frame in position, occlusal angulation. We reduce the height, reduce the opacity. That's fine. I think that's okay. Now, in the occlusal view, we set the real width of the teeth so that we can calculate. That's good, actually, like this. We generate now the 3D smile. You see, it's a matter of minutes. It's just a couple of cases to train, to understand the principles. And from here, we just have the position of our teeth. Of course, if I take more time and set the occlusal curve in a better way, then everything is more accurate. And I do have less to adjust, but that's for now, for our purposes, it's okay. So let me set my views. That's very important because I want my views to be set and locked, right? In this position, so I can go even more like this. Good. So now these two are locked, and you see it's a little bit a new design in this section. We do have now three sections: design, advanced, and the diagnostics, the AI diagnostics with the DICOM diagnostics. So we're gonna focusing now on these two parts: design and advanced. So what do we have in design? We have the tools, we have position, rotation, and size. And if I like, for example, the position or the design of my tooth here, let me see, like this, then I can select this one and say reflect the design from left to right, and I get the same size, the same position, same rotation like on the other on the opposite side, right? That way it's easier for me to design and to be faster in everything what I do. So we do have reflect design and position, rotation, and size. In the second option, we have groups, so I can group the full design and I can move the design lingually, buccally. I can open the design in a circular way or close the design. If I do have, for example, the preps integrated in, or I import the preps, I calibrate the preps, and now my mockup was additive, and now I need to bring the design in lingually, right? That's where I select the circular option, and then I bring the design lingually, and the design goes in a circle movement inside, so lingually, right? These are all these options to make everything easier. Then we have the intersection option to not to allow the teeth to intersect. We have the smile frame, guided design, touching points, calibrate 3D outlines. Then we have the templates. You see in the templates, we have our aesthetic templates. We have the prep models. If you click on the prep model, then you can see the prep templates that we use. Then we have the gingiva models. So if you create a full art implant bridge, you can select a full gingiva, upper, lower, or you can create here we have the wrong thumbnails, but you can select just one, right? You select one gingiva, for example, for the central or for the canine. If you need to fill the space, with gingiva, then you can take this gingiva, and the gingiva you can resize and adjust the gingiva, and with the CAD operation to form the gingiva based on the patient gingiva, so that you have then the prosthesis also designed and done. Then we have the crown lengthening, which is gonna come. So if you do have the DICOM file and the design based on the crown lengthening principles, you check the biological width with a cross section, you design the 3 millimeters down from the bone margin, or you do a crown lengthening, then automatically you will be able to also create the crown lengthening guide. And that's gonna be also very, very automated. That's the most important thing and easy. Then we have the 3D layers, and the 3D layers is you have here all the number one, all the layers that we use, for example, maxilla or prep, selected tooth, upper design, lower maxilla, lower design, whatever you have as, and then we have the project metric, project file metrics. Here we have the light. So if you want to change the colors of so if you want to add light and colors to the teeth, like I showed you, then you activate this option, and then you have the brightness, position of the light, the warmth of the teeth. so you can make them more yellow and so on. But the project metrics, let me explain to you, because that's something that is very, very easy and very clear to manage files, because all other softwares are very complicated, and file management is the most important aspect of what we do. And that's something that is very, very also important for me to have with every single case, to have a very clear structure of the files. So let me explain. Let's just rotate a little bit here. Okay, like this, that's fine. Position. Okay. So what do we have in a project? In a project, we have the original design. That's the original design, right? Full teeth. Then I want to mesh, edit the teeth and make some adjustments. I create a new layer of the mesh edited files. If I deform the teeth, I create a new file. If I do some CAD operations, I create a new file. So you are going to be able to have all the files from the project, central right, original, central right, mesh deformed, central right, Boolean. So you can jump to every single step and the level of your design and decide where to continue. Let me show you how that works. For example, we do have now our design and I want to make a mock-up out of it. It means, or shell mock-up, it means I need to delete everything what is here in the palatal area and in the bite. So I'm gonna go to my mesh editor and I'm gonna select the brushes that I have, flatten, deform, edges, smooth. So I'm gonna select the flatten. Now we're gonna select the layers of my design and I'm gonna mesh edit my design. So as you can see, I have my original design, but for my purposes, I want to change. Okay, so now flatten, I'm going to select this tooth and I delete everything what is here in the, I'm going to correct here a little bit like this. It's fine, flatten. So again, deleting. Now, okay. Also, I'm going to delete here everything. That's fine. I'm going to delete here also. And delete here also. Okay, so for my mockup, that's good. I want a mockup. Let me correct. Oops, correct here a little bit. Here also cover everything. Gingival margins, maybe here also. Good. So now I'm gonna apply the design back to my 3D project. So now you see, I do have my 3D project. I see my design in the face and you see everything is deleted. But we are flexible now because if I want to go back to the original design, I select here the original design. I take the slider and I go to the original design. Why? Because if I want to create, for example, that's a mock-up, right? And if I want to create something else, if I want to create temporaries or crowns or whatever, then I need to design differently, or I need to import the prep, calibrate the prep with this one, and then adjust the design over the prep. So in this project, I have all levels of everything what I do. Now, what we do or what we want is like a mock-up, right? Like a shell mock-up. So I'm gonna go to the CAD feature that I have, CAD features, and I select here temporaries. Why do I select the preset? Because if I want to create a shell mock-up for my patient with this design, what do I need to do? I need to create a difference, operation difference for every single tooth 6 times, and then I have to union them to create one file that is going to be printed. So why not clicking on a button and letting the technology work for me for all these operations in the background that I need to do, and I just get the file done, right? That's the idea of the presets and automatic operations. Here also you can set the offset, so from 25 microns to 150 microns. So if you want a space, for example, in a crown, if you want a space in a crown or in a veneer of 50 microns, then you can select here the 50 microns, and then we calculate everything with the difference of 50 microns between the patient's tooth and the veneer or the crown. Also, that's going to be something that it's not integrated in this prototype, but if you have the crowns calculated, you can go to the cross section, right? And then to check in the cross section to see the design with the offset and how the crown is. So now let's go back to my layers. We create now, you see, we do have maxilla and upper design. When we create the shell mockup, we generate a new layer, and the new layer is going to be a new slider here. So now it's calculating. Nevertheless, when Zoom is working, or if screen share is working, the whole system is slower than normal. So good. Let me see if until it's calculating, if you have more questions. So what if you added a video and the design is for a crown? Can you design all teeth? Yes, of course. Yeah. So good. Now let me show you. You see a new slider, temporaries. I turn off my upper design and the maxilla, and now that's my result. You see, we had a crown for the lateral, and we have shell veneers for the rest. You see? So now with the, we can change here the colors, and now we see our file that we can send out to the print. Of course, if what I didn't do, you see, if we go to the mesh editor and we prepare the design for a shell mockup, then I need to be very careful and really brush, everything much more precise, so that we don't have these pieces. They're not going to be printed anyway, but to clean everything, to clean the design and have everything done properly. So as you can see now, we have the shell mockup which can be printed, sent to the printer directly, and then you have a shell mock-up for your patient. And that's easy because the only thing that you need to do is really the design. You need to make sure that the design is properly done, and then all the operations are done in the background, so you don't need a big expertise in CAD software just to create, the shells. Now, the thing is, I want to do the mock-up, right? But my patient accepts the treatment and says, I want the veneers now and the crowns. So you have the design. The project that you have here, you see, is now the shell mock-up. I can go back to my original design. You see, here is the original design. So I don't lost anything. I'm gonna create now the ideal design. We're gonna print the mock-up of the ideal design. You're gonna create the mock-up. You're gonna prep through the mock-up. So why do we need to prep over the ideal design, over the mock-up? Because if we prep through the ideal mock-up, through the ideal design, then we know that you make enough space with your prep for the ideal design. You don't prep too much or too less. And then you scan the prep of the patient, import back into the app. Then we have another layer here of the prep. And now we need to adjust the design, right? I need to have my original design and to adjust my original design over the prep. That's why in the project, I have everything in one place. So now I do have the original design. Instead of the original maxilla, I'm gonna have the prep. I'm gonna then adjust the prep design, the design over the prep files. And then I'm gonna go again to the CAD features and I'm gonna create my veneers and my crowns based on the design over the prep. So that's then we have the video. Of course, what I didn't tell you because I forgot is we do have also, if you have upper and lower design or upper and lower jaw, we do have the Canine Guidance. So you can move here the upper and lower, the lower jaw, and you can check the design with the Canine Guidance, and you can make sure that your design is properly done and not too long, and the teeth, they don't break because they are crashing in each other. So that's also something that is important, an important aspect. And the digital edit. Oh yeah. Here we do have also the cut plane. So you see the scan is like this. With the cut plane, we can cut the object here straight, and then we can close the mesh with built on top. And then the file is already closed. And when you print, you can put the printed file in the articulator. So that's also something that it's super easy. You just define in this position where the cut should come. Then we cut all this excess here away, and we put the plate on top, and then you can print, and you can put the print then in the articulator. So that's the tools. Oh, and we have here in the mesh editor, we have here the deformation. You see the deformation swirl. It's also very, very cool because sometimes you do have in the gingival margins, the gingival margins of the tooth is rotated, right? So the incisal edge is like straight and the top is rotated. So you can swirl the tooth from the top part a little bit distally so that it follows the gingival margins. And then you do have here, of course, the gingival feet where you select the 8 points, the 9 points following the gingival line, and then calibrate the gingival margins of the teeth. Of course, that's only the first step of the gingival fit, because we work on automating the gingival fit completely. So we're gonna create like a very, very powerful analysis of the gingival line of the patient, and then we're gonna calculate automatically your design based on the actual situation of the patient. A lot of stuff. I hope it was interesting. I hope I didn't scare you, but everything what we do is actually to simplify and to make our designs and our treatments and everything what we do better and quicker and more in harmony with the patient's face and all this stuff. Don't worry, it's not complicated at all. Everything what I do is in a way that it should be easier and easier and easier. And we do have, you know, our team who is going to support you step by step. We're going to build our expertise step by step on top of everything what we do. We're going to start with the digital patient, 3D design. If you have the 3D design, then all the CAD features are going to be just another expertise on top of the 3D design, so that everything is done differently than we do right now, all these very, very complex and time-consuming features. So we do have here on this side, we do have the release SmileFy 3.0. You can register, you know, now we're gonna have tutorials, we're gonna have the master classes step by step. So our goal is really to create the most beautiful smiles in a way that it improves the treatment plan and the workflow in your office. We do have an exclusive price for the release, so it's going to be $1,299 from the regular price of $2,599. Plus, we do have the tutorial and the master classes. So Samia and George, they can answer you all the questions regarding our education and our systems. Okay.
We are here on the chat. Please let us know your questions and we can answer all of your questions, okay?
Yeah. Okay, I hope it was interesting. I hope you liked all the new direction and all the new features that we have. It's gonna be very, very important and very defining for our future, to simplify all these very complex workflows, and to be able to create in office all these veneers and temporaries and crowns in a very, very easy way. Plus, to have this communication with the patient also at a different level. So thank you very much. We are gonna stay in the chat and answer all your questions. And how do we use the peak or iMetric to combine the final workshop without going an external console like Exocad? Sure, let me show you, because the full workflow is actually based on the peak and the iCam. In this case, you do have the design, and then you see you have the scan, and you can import the peak files or the iCam files, the position of the implant bodies, right? You can import them and as STLs into the app. In the patient documentation, you have 2 boxes for the peak files, and then you calibrate them with the intraoral scan of the patient, and then you get the position. In this case, we do have also the video, you see right and left. So we define the new vertical dimension of occlusion, but at the end, that's the position of the jaw, that's the position of the implants, and on top you put your design, right? So then you design your new teeth, then you put the gingiva, and you know what? Let me show you, because I do have the here, digital patient design. Let me see. Yeah, Beautiful. I do have the case. Let me show you. So like this. We do have the broken denture, the broken bridge. We set our occlusal curve to define where we generate our new design. We set here the occlusal angulation. We generate our new design. We set the dimension and everything. And we generate our new design. And we go to the design screen. And here we go. That's the position that we have. That's the automatic generated design, upper and lower. We have the upper jaw, lower jaw, and the position of the implants. We put, you see here, we select the gums, we put the gums on top. Now with the mesh editor, we adjust the gums. You see, with the brushes, we can adjust the gums and really customize everything to make it the way we want. And back to the design. We do have now the implant bodies. And with the Cad features, we unify gums with the teeth. And here we go. We create the holes in the gums. And then we export the full. Of course, here is one step missing. So we need to adjust the gums, the gingiva, the prosthesis based on the patient, patient's gum. But that's another operation in the Cad feature that you can then additionally set, right? And then the gums are going to be automatically adjusted based on the patient's gingiva. So that's the workflow. Okay. Yeah. Now you can finish. Yeah, now you can finish the design with the full art implant bridge, and you can print. Yes. We didn't have exactly last webinar. We didn't have the CAD features, so we couldn't create anything inside yet. But right now, so it's not only the design. You can create the final version of the full art implant bridge. Okay, the crown lengthening guide. The crown lengthening guide is connected to the design. So what we do is we call it crown lengthening aesthetic planning. Just a second, where is my just a second. Here we go. So the point is, the way we have the design inside the app, you need the CBCT or the DICOM file, right? And then when we design the smile like this, for example, where is it? So we design the smile like this. That's the harmony and the size and everything what we want for her. But then we need to check in the crown lengthening in the aesthetic planning with the CBCT, with the cross section, and with the design. So we calibrate the design, the cross section, and the CBCT, you see, in the same size. And then we calculate 3 millimeters biological width from the zenith of the veneer to the top. And we see we don't have enough space. So the first version to achieve these veneers height is osteoplasty, 1.3 millimeters. If the patient doesn't want to do this treatment, then we need to redesign from the bone margin 3 millimeter down to create a biological width, and then to have here only the gingivectomy. The designs are different. This one is more in harmony with the face. The centers are bigger, more strong, and here they need to be shorter. So then the patient can check. What we do in the how to design the crown lengthening, that's gonna be also automatically done, because based on your design, we define these half circles, right, around the tooth. And these circles are going to be automatically calculated and adjusted on the gingiva and the position of the tooth and the position of the bone margin, what you have defined. And then we create these gingival guides. That's going to be a little bit of a more complex workflow, and it's going to require a little bit of training and education, because we need to measure based on the CBCT where we can go with the design, and then based on this design to create a guide. Also automated, also more simple than it is right now. But for that part, we're gonna need the course and you know, to make sure that every single step of the procedure is very, very precise. Yeah, it's working on the iPad. So it's working on the iPad, iPhone, and Mac, and the Mac computer. Yes, you're not gonna design on the iPhone, but you can open on the iPhone all the whole project and modify and do stuff. Of course, I also design stuff on the iPhone, but it's very, very small, and I use a pen. But the idea is to, of course, to have a big screen or an iPad and do all this stuff on on the devices. So right now we don't have any deals with the implant companies. So you need to import the multi-units into SmileFy, which you can do. But we don't have like a library right now with the implant companies where you can select your implant brand and then just use the multi-unit data. That's also something that we're gonna, of course, discuss and integrate. Implant surgical guide, the guide is not the big problem. The big problem is the implant planning data. So that's why we work now with the implant software company, and we want to connect actually the data exactly the same way we do with the printers. So design, sending to the implant software, creating the implants, implant position and everything, coming back to SmileFy, and then based on the implant position, then we can create the guides also, automated and guided and everything easy. But first we need the implant planning, and we need the data from the implant software so that we know where, how, and in which angulation the implants are. That's going to be later this year, but we work, of course, on all these aspects of the planning. Okay, so good. Thank you very much. Good. If you have questions, we're gonna stay here and answer more questions. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you liked everything what we developed. And if you are interested, you have our full support. We have in our team 8 integrational consultants, so everybody's gonna help you step by step with the first patient, with the first design, so that you see the power of the whole system with the patient. And yeah, I wish you a lot of beautiful designs and enjoy SmileFy. Thank you very much.
Hi, doctors. We are here on the chat. We're still here. Please let me know if you have any question, if you need more information. Also, I'm putting here my email, my phone number, so you can connect me anytime, okay?